Alright, yeah, welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and today we're going to be playing some historic Brawl. It has been a while since we've brawled, no particular reason other than Explorer's just been really fun, so I've been exploring that new format quite a lot recently, and hopefully you guys have been enjoying that content, but I know some of you are here for the Brawl, and the Brawl we shall play. Today we're going to be playing around with a new Capenna Commander in an Esper variant. This is Queza. I can never remember the name. Queza, Augur of Agonies. 1 white, blue, and black. An Esper creature commander. A Cephalid Advisor, 3/4. Whenever you draw a card, target opponent loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life. So there's some stuff that you could do with this card. One, you're in Esper, so it lends itself to playing a control style game. Your commander can be your win condition in that fashion, where you just grind them out, and every time you draw a card, they lose some life and you gain some life. A great thing to do to win the game, similar to like Meat Hut Massacre. You know, that kind of accomplishes a similar strategy and is a win con in itself. But it's actually also a combo piece to a bigger strategy. So whenever we draw a card, we gain 1 life. So whenever we gain 1 life with Lich's Mastery, been a while since we played this card, but we are back on it. Whenever you gain a life with Lich's Mastery in play, you draw a card. Whenever you draw a card, you gain 1 life. Whenever you gain 1 life, you draw a card. So that is infinite draw that even I cannot stop. So we are basically going to deck ourselves and drain our opponent for every single card drawn. Now, you might be thinking, what happens if you run out of cards? Well, you can't lose the game with Lich's Mastery, and therefore you can draw all the way down to 0 to win the game. So as long as our opponent's life total is equal or less than the number of cards in our library when we go off, then we can win the game through Lich's Mastery. We can also win the game in other means as well. You've got, like, the Teferi has the ult there, which can emblem to say, draw a card, exile a permanent your opponent controls. You can strip mine them and leave them with absolutely no permanence. And then Teferi can go tuck himself with the -3 then, so that you don't deck yourself. And then you just wait until your opponent draws every single card in their deck and loses. So we don't 100% rely on this, but the combo is there. We also have Peer into the Abyss as well. Peer into the Abyss draws cards equal to half the number of cards in our library and then lose half their life, round up each time. So again, half our life with Queza, and half the cards in our deck. Half the cards in our deck drawn will do some draining there as well, so hopefully that's going to be a way to win the game. So Queza plus Lich's Mastery and Peer into the Abyss, or Peer into the Abyss, is going to be the way that we are going to win 9 times out of 10, if we can help it. Otherwise, of course, we do have Hives and Hall of Storm Giants, Beatdown, potential in here, you know, Planeswalker ults, all of that stuff's in here to win the game if this isn't going to work out for us. To find that combo, we've got Search for Glory, and we've got Grim Tutor. Grim Tutor gets any card and loses 3 life. Search for Glory only gets a legendary saga, or what is it, a snow card. So it only goes and gets Lich's Mastery or a Planeswalker or any of our channel lands as well. So that's a thing that we can do as well. I think Lich's Mastery Queza is the better way to win the game most of the time, because it's cheaper and you can do them on separate turns, and yeah, there's a whole thing about it. But yeah, we're playing Esper Control. I won't go into too much about what Esper Control is. It's got lots of removal, lots of sweepers. We've got removal, Void Rend, destroying non-land permanents that can't be countered, pretty sweet. And then we're going to win with big Planeswalkers if our combo doesn't work. So yeah, if you do enjoy today's content, then make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. The deck will explain itself as we play, no doubt, so don't worry if I haven't explained it well enough for you. The gameplay shall do that nonetheless. But yeah, take care and enjoy the gameplay. This video is brought to you by the generous support of our wonderful patrons and channel members that you see here. If you'd like to support the channel and get access to cool content like sneak peeks, bonus videos, polls on future content, or access to a personal deck critique from myself every month, then hit the join button down below, or check out the Patreon link in the description. With all that said, let's get into the gameplay. Alrighty then, we're in and on the play. This hand's not the strongest, so I kind of think I might mull. We're up against Queza, so a good chunk of this hand's going away anyway, so... Yeah, D-Spark looks bad, Wrath's bad, Pact's bad, Deluge is good, but not right now, and Grimtutor's bad, so... The whole hand's bad. This is... kinda better. Kinda better. Don't care for Peer into the Abyss in my hand, but I guess at least we have the combo finisher available, I suppose. Does that really count? I don't know. Would have loved double black for Phyrexian Arena, but we've got Absorb and Bankbuster open, so yeah, pretty happy with this one, I guess. It's up to draw some black sources along the way, I suppose. What are we leading with? We want to make an effort to get Absorb on turn 3, but I also kind of want to leave the possibility of Phyrexian Arena open. I guess I can only really do that with a black source off the top, really. So, yeah, I guess it doesn't really matter what land we lead with here. Anyway, while we wait for our opponent, they're playing Queza, Titan of Death's Hunger, 2 mana 6/6 in Rakdos. When it enters the battlefield, you sacrifice it unless it escaped. To escape it, you have to pay 2 red, 2 black from the graveyard, and exile 5 other cards. And then it enters the battlefield or attacks. Each opponent discards a card. And then each opponent who didn't discard a card or a non-land card loses life. Discard tribal for Rakdos, basically. So I expect to be losing a card here. I think it might just be Peer into the Abyss. I'll just rely on winning the game later. And I can also get it back with Cyber Siphoner down the line. Ooh, gonna go for a 4 mana... Nope, just a Phyrexian Arena. Into discard spell. Mana value 2 or less. Take Meat Hut Massacre. Cool. Alright, so yeah, we're in that position where I need to hold up and absorb. I have the Fable Passage to get Phyrexian Arena going, but I can still draw a card with Bankbuster if they do nothing here. Or if they do something that I don't really care about. Like that, for example. I'll just discard Peer into the Abyss here and then draw a card for my turn. Yeah, discarding a card here really doesn't matter when the rest of my turn is spent drawing cards, so... Elspeth conquers death. Alright, well, let's make efforts to get towards Phyrexian Arena. Opponent's drawing extra cards, so I'm hoping we're going to at some point. Only got 3 cards in the yard, including Queza, so they need 6 total, basically, including the Queza. Channeler. Sure. Only really interested in dealing with extremely tough to deal with things. Ooh, got an Ashiok there. I want to increase the odds of me drawing a land, so not fetching with Fable Passage is the way to do that. Interesting. So I can draw with Bankbuster to get Phyrexian Arena online, or I could play Ashiok. I think I'm drawing to get Phyrexian Arena online. May even be able to do it without using the treasure, but not today, apparently. So I'm going to fetch a swamp. Good old Barbara swamps. Play our Phyrexian Arena. So now we're keeping ahead with card advantage. Their discard doesn't really matter so much. And I can drop down an Ashiok. Don't really care if it dies because we got Elspeth. Got board wipes, counter spells. We got everything we need now. Yep, sure. They're not likely to find a better target for Fatal Push than that, so... Well, I guess maybe Ashiok tokens. Death's Majesty. Okay, they mill, which enables Queza next turn. Got Bounty. I'm just going to have to ECD Liliana here, I think. Don't really want them fueling the board any further than they already have. Yeah, I could dig to a potential answer, but I'm not confident I'd find one. I think it's greedy to assume that I would. So let's just get rid of Liliana. Play our land drops for the turn. And see where we go. Eventually we're going to sweep the board to clear the way for Ashiok. I assume they're just going to go Queza here. They're going to check for traps. That's really bad, because that means they can take time wipe. Unless they don't care about board wipes. It'd be very weird for them to not care. Yeah, they've definitely got a certain advantage where they can check our hand before they play any of our threats, which means our counter spells and board wipes are less effective. Okay, that does get exiled, so ECD's not going to bring it back. Again, kind of odd, though, that they don't want to take the sweeper. Because they're going to play Queza here, and then I'm just going to get rid of it. We're going to get rid of Conversion, because I actually kind of want the land off Bounty of the Deep, potentially. Hapatef. Yeah, missing a land drop here is really not great. But let's sweep. Allow our opponent to once again play a threat that I have to deal with. Reactively instead of countering it on the stack. Ooh. Free Teferi, thank you. I was just about to set a stop, just in case I drew a discard spell. Three mana, play your Teferi for you, thank you. By the way, as an extra loyalty counter on it, good luck, have fun. I've got counter spells now and card draw. Oh, that's wonderful. That is wonderful. Alright, well, mistakes were made, and on to the next game. Alrighty, we're in on the play. And it's got an interesting hand. I think it's keepable. It's all three colours of mana with removal. Opponent's playing a Gyruda Muldrotha list. Fancy. So Muldrotha is their main commander. 6 mana 6/6 with legendary creature elemental avatar. During each of your turns... Ooh, we drew a combo piece. That's not great. Don't need that just yet. And it's open to discard spells. We'll get to our opponent's stuff in just a minute. I will not be doing any of the other things here, so we're going to be doing this. Digging for land drops more than anything. Disruption, rude. Alright, that could be bad. Muldrotha, during each of your turns you may play a land and cast permanent spells, or each permanent type from your graveyard. Yeah, not great. Not great. Skipping land drops, less than ideal. Opponent really got us there. And then they're also playing Gyruda as well, which has a companion of your entire deck has to have even mana value cards. So obviously don't care about the 0-4. Like, at all. It will never get any use out of me. Alright, we got a land. That does mean I can go Memory Deluge now, which is fantastic. Certainly won't be playing my commander. There's no reason to. So yeah, permanent types means artifacts, enchantments, lands, planeswalkers, all of that nonsense. If it sticks around on the board for more than a turn, it's probably a Muldrotha target. I'm just going to explore. But yeah, with the amount of removal we've got here, our opponent's going to really have to set up Muldrotha plus a spell immediately. Oh, come on, where's my lands? Right, well, I'm going to have to take a key to the archive here then, obviously. And then I think I'll take Jace, in case I top deck a land. I'm not that good at doing that, but guess I'll go key to the archive. Opponent could have an answer to it, Maelstrom Pulse and nonsense like that. Alright, 2 cards that are in our deck. And 1 that isn't. I think I will take the castable without key cards. So let's go with... I think I'll go with the cheaper D-Spark. And we'll put... I think Maze Mind Tome in the trash. I guess. Yeah, sure. Not too certain on that one. Yeah, I don't want to rely on key to the archive. I guess they can't have Maelstrom Pulse because Gyruda prevents them from playing 3 mana cards. But I'm sure they'd have something for key to the archive that I can't think of. Naturalize. Binding the Old Gods. There you go. Gem Razor. Oh! That's the thing that just happened there. So you might be wondering what the hell just happened there. Well, they targeted Fibblethip with Gem Razor, and when Fibblethip becomes the target of a spell, it gets shuffled back into their library. And in order for the Gem Razor to go off, our opponent actually needs to have the creature mutate. So the fact that Fibblethip wasn't there when Gem Razor entered meant that this came down with absolutely no mutation, which is hilarious. I'm going to play at least one of these cards, and it won't be anything that draws me cards. I guess I'm just going to go with Day of Judgment. I do let my opponent have a card here, but I don't think I particularly care about that. Yeah, really struggling on those old land drops. But I'm pretty happy where we are right now anyway. Regardless. Gonna go with Panharmonicon. Sure, I can de-spark that. Come on with this land destruction. Alright, well, let's just hit the Panharmonicon. I'm gonna need to kill it eventually, so... Goodbye, key to the archive. Come on, land drop. Skipped 9 of them so far, so... Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Yes! Is that a yes? That's kind of a no. It's even a tap land. Jesus. Okay. This isn't going very well for us, is it? I've got a perfectly normal amount of lands. I didn't cut any to put the MDFCs in. I think I cut 2, actually. But I have 2 bolt lands, so... Yeah, it is a normal amount of lands. I shouldn't really be experiencing the amount of mana screw that I am right now. Okay, so they've got a Vraska.
Its loss will serve us.
Sack the Binding the Old Gods, since it got them their land and won't do anything else. I will need to answer this, so I guess I should just answer it now to be mana efficient. I don't really have the luxury of not being incredibly mana efficient. Problem I face now is that Muldrotha could come down and play Binding of the Old Gods. So I should probably discover the formula instead of playing into Muldrotha. You can draw a card. Yeah, then they can get back Binding, they can get back Vraska, they can get back Gemrazor, Solemn, they've got all sorts they can get back. So I'm not too interested in just giving them free value right now. Gonna go with Gyruda, okay. So, Mills as both. I'm just trying to think, do I want to do anything in response? I think I'm okay. I think they just hit an Oracle of Muldaya is pretty good. Some extra land drops there. Let's just go discover the formula here. See if it resolves. We got a Drari's Disruption out of them. They've got a Spark double on the way, which is definitely spooky. Drew lands. What a treat. So with them having Spark double, I think I'm just playing Lich's Mastery. It has Hexproof. No, I probably shouldn't. I should probably sweep first. So let's play this on white. Sweep the board. Set up for the win, though. So whenever I draw a card, we drain. Gonna play Cold Steel Heart. I'm just thinking, what do I Grim Tutor for? Let's get this on black. And do I Inquisition them? Because it would set up Muldrotha. I don't really care for that so much. Yeah, let's Grim Tutor. Possibly for a counterspell to protect our Queza. I've only got one blue mana, so I guess I'll take counterspell. I think that's fine. With the combo in hand, all I want to do is protect from Muldrotha plus Binding of the Old Gods, I suppose. It's a shame I don't have one white mana open, but that is the cost of doing Wrath of God, I suppose. Okay, they're gonna do Blast Zone on 2. Here's Muldrotha with 4 mana potential. It's probably 5 mana, I would assume, because they've got lands in the graveyard. Just gonna play Oracle. So I've got 14 cards in my graveyard. Wow, they just hit 2 land drops off the top. 14 cards in my graveyard means Muldrotha and Oracle are not enough to make me hurt my hand or mana base. So who do you go with first? Do you just do Lich's Mastery? Or do you do Queza? Because I could do both, but I can't protect. And I think protecting is quite important. I'm going to go Lich's Mastery. Probably should have Inquisition first, but, you know, I live on the edge. Absolute madness. And then this is... Wow, okay, so... Got Kogla, which can't hit Lich's Mastery. They did have plenty of removal. I might just hit Muldrotha now. Knowing that they can't do much about it. So my life total basically is no longer 22. Now my life total is 16 because that is the size of my graveyard. That's sort of how that works. So if I play Queza and it lives, and I get to draw a card, I will win the game. So I'm going to allow my opponent to completely tap out here, if they want to do that. Because all I need is enough counter magic or disruption to play through Eat to Extinction and Baleful Mastery. So our opponent is now just dead. I'm just going to do that now, just in case they would hit something that I can't think of. I know that Oracle's not going to mess with the top card of their library. So we're going to go Counterspell gone, and Sword's gone. It really doesn't matter. We're going to go Queza, Jace, draw a card. Yep, sure. Whenever I draw a card, I gain 1 life. Whenever I gain 1 life, I draw a card. Then they lose 1 life. The game is now over. They have 30 life. I have 68 damage to go with my Lich's Mastery. Fantastic. Alright. And even if we weren't dead there, we don't lose to decking ourselves. We would have to discard to hand size, unfortunately, but you know, that is just the meat of it. But we would get the best 7 cards in our deck to try and beat our opponent from there. So, let's say maybe... Did I have the Peer from the Abyss in my graveyard? Was that this game? Or was it Exiled? I think I mulled it back in on my first hand, right? Something like that. So I would draw my Peer from the Abyss to go again, making them draw like half their lands or something like that. I don't know. Either way, we'd figure something out. So yeah, on to the next game. Alrighty then, we are on the play. We don't really have anything to do until turn 3. And even then, it's a little bit awkward. But we can do this as a Scryland to try and find something. And, yeah, see where we go from there. We're up against a Yorion list, so sometimes they are a control deck. So all the counter magic will definitely work in our favour in that regard. Just going to bottom the cards I can't play for now. But also, if they're anything other than a control deck, it means they're a creature deck, and then Exclude and Murderous Rider are going to work for us here. Okay, we've got a Divine Purge. So they're actually going to be a Yorion Flicker deck, then, I assume? Alright, well, now I've got Exclude open. And I can Field of Ruin to get a different coloured spell. Restoration of Agandra, sure. I guess I want a blue source with Field of Ruin. That allows me to hold up and absorb then. A hard counter is nice, plus a creature counter. We are thinning our deck and not opening up the potential for Murderous Rider, but can't really get everything we want here, right? So, yeah, let's just get the double blue with the white for absorb. I'll also undo the 3 damages worth of turns, I guess. Ooh, Rafine's Tower, fantastic. Alright, that is our mana fixed, basically, for the rest of the game. Opponent was always going to be able to ramp here, I'm pretty confident about that. And I don't think I really had a choice in the matter as far as Field of Ruining was concerned. I think it was always a correct thing to do. So they discard a land, get a land back. They could have gone with the Veil and picked any colour. I think that's better, right? Because it always comes back tapped, but you get to choose a colour here. Ooh. If I had like a Disdainful Stroke, I would be much happier about Searcher's countering. As it stands, I think I'm holding up encounters and then charming for lands. Yeah, you're not allowed a Wandering Emperor. Sorry. Do you get to Yorion now? But I've seen worse Yorions, so... Oh dear. Alright, that's a problem.
Need to move quickly.
I need to answer that, and I need to answer it now. Ooh, Vanishing Verse. That's sort of okay. Yeah, I'm going to do it on their turn, because if they can counter, they're going to anyway, so... Let's just make them do it on their turn if they have it. Yep, there's a veto. I might just concede at this point. I mean, most of the time when Teferi comes down against blue-white, you're in garbage time. I don't have an immediate answer in my hand right now to take care of it, so I'm going to take a draw step and then concede. I think that's just correct. Our opponent's way ahead of us on mana and board presence. Now they're drawing many, many cards a turn. I've got to deal with the board, and I've got to deal with the Teferi, so... Yeah, if I don't draw an immediate answer to Teferi, I'm conceding right now. Thoughtseize. Yep, let's move on to the next game. Alrighty then, we're in and on the play with good mana, so we're going to keep. Our opponent's on Athreos Shroud Veiled, one of my personal favourite Theros gods of all time. 6 mana 4/7, a legendary enchantment creature god with indestructible, but not protection from counterspells. Good lord, our opponent's in for a hard time here. As long as your devotion to white and black is less than 7, Athreos isn't a creature. I'm going to play my black source and pass. And at the beginning of your end step, you put a coin counter on another target creature. Whenever a creature with a coin counter on it dies or is put into exile, Kumbal hurts me to my core. Does it hurt me enough for me to not play into the drain there? No, not really. Let me just power word kill it. Whenever a creature with a coin counter on it dies or is put into exile, that card comes back to the battlefield under your control. So our opponent can kill my creatures with coin counters on them and reanimate them onto their side, or kill their own creatures with tempo value and things like that, like Ravenous Chupacabra, kill them themselves or let them die, and then go from there. This sounds pretty good though. Hallowed Haunting is fine. We'll despark it. Alright. I do want to save a couple of my counter spells for when Queza comes down. Or is it Queza? I kind of want to say Queza, but I don't know. I don't think it's a Queza. Smothering Tithe. Oh, Disdainful Stroke that. Alright. Because we missed our land drop, it means that if our opponent played land into Athreos, I wouldn't be able to stop it if I played my commander here, so I'm not going to. Players can't cast spells from graveyards or activate it. Sure. We're only going to counter the ones that are annoying. This one makes creatures, and then lords them up eventually. Oh my god. Our opponent must think I'm counterspell tribal here. I'm really trying not to be. I'm just drawing all of them. That is a Kaya Orzhov Usurper. That needs to be countered. Sorry, opponent. I want to play something else, but the game's not letting me. Lol. Guess I'll pass the turn then. So yeah, it is a creature on the stack, so I'm probably going to exclude it. I actually don't know if that's true. Is that true? I am probably just gonna hive my opponent though. Tail's End plus Grasp should cover everything I need to cover. And we'll eat a bit of their graveyard. Start with Kambal. I think they're most likely to be able to get rid of... Sure. Most likely to be able to get rid of... reanimate creatures. Well, that's kind of annoying. I kind of expected them to have a little bit of removal, but I want to do something other than counter my opponent's spells the entire way to the end of the game. How many counters have I done now? 4 and 2 removal spells. Lovely. Alright, well, I get to play Queza now. If I have to counter a creature, that's great. If I can't counter a creature, I'm not too fussed about that. Yeah, Borrowed Time's fine. I'm thinking I might let them have that underneath Borrowed Time. Decline. Dawn of Hope. That could start pumping out creatures. They've also got the City's Blessing, so they can start drawing with Arch Veraska. So they're definitely ahead of me, but that's only because I haven't done anything. I've been waiting for the cards that do something to be drawn. Yep, that's fine. So I've got things like Void Rend for Borrowed Time, so I'm not too fussed about that. Come on! Oh man, I feel worse about Counterspell Tribal than my opponent does, apparently. Just gonna draw a card and pass. Yeah, I guess. The hand might be full of just creature removal, and I only have 2 creatures in my entire deck. Please redraw. Anything but a counterspell, please. More lands, I suppose, is something I asked for. Alright. Ooh! I can even turn one of my counterspells into literally anything else. That's good. I like that. Why is our opponent cracking in response? And do I care? There's no counter that you could have here. And it's not that bad of a card either. There we go, we've got a card. Alright. I'm going to get rid of Infernal Grasp. Because Ashiok can double as removal if I need it to be. End my search. And then get a bounty. Alright, fair enough. 3 for 5. I could do Ashiok plus Wash Away, but I can't hold up and absorb, so I'm going to go instead with Bounty of the Deep, drawing 2 non-lands. We finally pushed through the nonsense. Ooh, I could search for Glory for Elspeth Conquers Death, hit Borrowed Time, and then peer into the Abyss is ready to go. I think that's the play. Let my opponent play whatever they want this turn. I can't imagine they could really do too much. I could also get to Fairy, and then I've got a Planeswalker as well. It's really is, isn't it? It's ECD or to Fairy. Let's get Big Tef. Big Tef minus the Borrowed Time with Absorb and Wash Away backup potentially. Don't really care if Teferi dies because we win on the combo. They do get to draw a lot of cards here with Dawn of Hope though. Oh, Leyline? How does my commander read? Target opponent. Oof. Well, that's going to make things, again, a little bit awkward. Certainly a little bit awkward. Ashiok first, so that we've got blockers, perhaps? Maybe? I could also do Ashiok -3 Leyline. Almost if I just peered half my hand. I still have my maximum hand size to contend with, so... guess that wouldn't be the best. I'm actually gonna go Tef tick up, I think. This puts him on 5, which means between the 2 tokens I can still minus. Lich's Mastery, hello. And I've got Absorb plus Wash Away, so it shouldn't get any worse. I think this is okay. 10 cards in the yard, so once I go below 10, Lich's Mastery is gaining me life effectively. Could also Iganjo, but I don't care for that.
No more games.
So we can draw some cards. Play the land. Hold my counters only if anything is important. That's not important. Sorin. Is that important? I guess that's kind of worth countering. Alright, so I would win right now if I didn't have Leyline to contend with. 3, 4, 5. I wonder, what about... Tick up with Teferi.
Let's skip to the good part.
Lich's Mastery... Ashiok. Because if I absorb, I draw 3, basically. Whenever you draw a card... Yeah, I still need to target my opponent. So I still need to do some protecting here. Again, though, now I can Iganjo plus Absorb, meaning Teferi can -3. Going after me. Deal. So I'm going to exile 2 cards from my graveyard. Let's see. Some of these disgusting looking counter spells that make me feel bad. Start with those. Alright, they get to draw some cards. Okay, so Ashiok. Ashiok in.
I wonder if you're brave enough to overcome your fears.
Bounce. Replicate. No, oh god. Leyline. Bounce Leyline. There is a point here where they can interact. So now they exile. I get my commander back. Gonna make a token, that's fine. Tapped out and I win. So now I draw half my deck. Right. This'll work. I'm not killing myself doing this, right? Draws half their number of cards in their library and loses half their life. But then I'll gain the life to draw the other half. I mean, for science, I'm just not even going to question it. Let's find out what happens. Maybe I get to order the triggers. I certainly do. Alright. So because Queza goes off first, that means Lich's Mastery does its thing first. But not the bad part of Lich's Mastery. So now I draw the other half of my deck and ping my opponent to death, because I had more cards in my deck than they did life. And so there's a somewhat infinite loop with an end in sight. Sweet! Well, we navigated that one. I wasn't expecting a Leyline of Sanctity, though. That certainly made things a little bit awkward. So we're at 33, 34, 35, 36. And the next one, there's your lethal right there. I can't lose to decking myself, because Lich's Mastery says when it leaves the battlefield, I lose the game. But I can't lose the game otherwise. And it only leaves the battlefield when I'm forced to exile it. And I am certainly not forced to exile it, because I can exile cards from my hand, from my graveyard, from my mana base, from my planeswalkers. So I know I've killed my opponent, because even after I'm done drawing, I've still got drain triggers on the stack. So this game is well and truly over. It's just a matter of, I guess, seeing whether or not the game realizes my opponent's dead. And we get to see what a 70 card hand looks like, I suppose. Something like that, right? Got 52 cards in it right now. Let's see on the bottom left there. Yeah, it's going to be like 75, something like that. Wow. What an emotional thrill ride. Maybe my opponent's also thinking, does this end somehow? Maybe they think I'm going to deck myself. So after all these triggers would happen, it's not going to let me look, I don't think. Oh, it is. There's this bad trigger here. I would have to lose 7 permanents or 7 parts of my graveyard. That's really not an issue. Oh, I've officially lost the sound to this ability, but I think that's fine, right? We didn't need to hear pinging 6 more times. Nearly there, chat. Nearly there. 2, 1, and... Well, without the explosion, it's kind of not as wonderful, but... Yeah, that is the fullest extent of my combo. Look at this beautiful hand. Now, I'm going to cut off the comments right now that say, why don't you have Reliquary Tower in your mana base so that you can use all these cards? I will remind you that our opponent is dead, and the only occasion when I would have this many cards in my hand is when I have won the game, so that's why there is no maximum hand size affecting cards in the deck, because it's pointless. But yeah, that's going to do it for today's video. Managed to pull off the combo in its entirety a few times, and actually got to see it doing its thing, I think once, right? So yeah, if you did enjoy today's gameplay, then make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more Brawl content in the future. I'm going to try and do a little bit more Brawl content over the coming weeks. For those of you who are here purely for Brawl, I do apologise that I've been enjoying Explorer quite a lot. I'm still going to be playing Explorer. It is currently my favourite way to play Magic right now, so I'm definitely going to be playing that a lot, especially since Winota's gone now and the format looks nicer and more friendly. We'll see about that, but who knows. But yeah, either way, we're going to be doing some variety, so stick around for that. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed. Take care and have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace.